The coronation of King Charles III is something that hasn't been seen in Britain in 70 years, and millions will be watching around the world. ABC's James Longman is outside of Buckingham Palace, where things will get going shortly. So, James, what should we expect?
Hi, Byron. Yeah, in just a few hours' time, King Charles will be crowned king. All the history of this nation will be on full display to the world. Charles and Camilla will leave here from Buckingham Palace. They will head to Westminster Abbey for the coronation service. Some 2,000 guests will be in attendance. The ceremony will take about an hour and a half. And essentially, this is our constitution played out in pageantry, but it's also a solemn occasion. He's invested not just as head of state, but also head of the church in England. It's fair to say that the popularity of the monarchy has waned in recent years. Charles has a huge job ahead of him for this, the job he's waited for a lifetime. Byron. Indeed.
Thank you so much, James. And much of the world will be watching. Shakespeare once famously noted, "Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown." There are many challenges and controversies ahead for King Charles after the pomp and pageantry of the ceremony ends.
It's an historic moment nearly 70 years in the making, as a ritual procession of horses and golden carriages, priceless jewels, and royal robes are ready for the coronation of Britain's King Charles III.
The point of the coronation is that it is part of a tradition, but it marks a moment of joy.
Prince William and Princess Kate talking with excited fans camping out along the parade route.
How are the kids doing?
They're really well, thank you.
Very excited.
Excited, a bit nervous.
The king greeting others who were shocked to see him in person.
Three cheers for the king!
Charles is obviously no stranger to being at the centre of large-scale events, but the coronation is by far the biggest event that he has ever been the focal point of.
At 74, Charles has been waiting to be crowned king his entire life. A stark difference from the 1953 coronation of his then 27-year-old mother, Queen Elizabeth II.
This king, the oldest king to ever be crowned in this country, will probably be one of the shortest reigning kings as well. But that said, it's his moment, it's his turn.
But Charles's coronation isn't without controversy. From the crown jewels,
they're symbols of majesty and of power, but to display them so lavishly when we're facing a cost of living crisis has become this lightning rod for debate.
To the fractured family drama with his two sons.
There's a lot of feeling, perhaps, that the fallout with Harry has brought William and Charles closer together.
And waning public support for the monarchy.
The youth have very different attitudes to the older generation, especially about the monarchy. I think we're seeing those real battle lines being drawn.
A steadying force by the new king's side, his longtime love, Camilla. The 75-year-old queen consort will also be crowned, next to her husband of 18 years.
Members of society, older members, don't like her because they see her as a homewrecker, someone who broke a marriage up.
Charles and Diana's wedding in 1981 was a fairy tale, but their marriage was far from perfect, and Camilla cast a long shadow. In 1993, the British tabloids reported on an extremely intimate conversation between the two, dubbed Camillagate, recently resurfacing as a plot line in The Crown.
Night-night, my darling, I do love you.
Love you too.
By 2005, more than 7 years after Diana's death, Charles and Camilla married.
I'm just coming down to earth.
Did you get down on one knee to propose?
It should be interpreted as a enduring love story because, love story is not all about, fairy tales. It's about real life, and I think they've had to endure a lot.
Before she died, Queen Elizabeth expressed her wish that Camilla be known as the Queen Consort. Prince Harry also writing about his stepmother in his blockbuster memoir, Spare. On 60 Minutes, he told Anderson Cooper both he and William asked their father not to marry Camilla.
We thought that it was going to cause more harm than good, and that if he was now with his person, that surely that's enough. Why go that far when you don't necessarily need to?
On Saturday, Harry will face his family for the first time since releasing his tell-all book. His wife Meghan and young children staying behind in California to celebrate son Archie's 4th birthday.
I think it's really vital for Harry to be at the coronation. He needs to be there to support his dad, but also for Harry to remain relevant. He needs that platform for himself now.
But reports of tension between Harry and his brother William also persisted.
William obviously is worried that any conversations he has with Harry might be repeated in the press, might be repeated in a book. They're going to have to navigate their way through this new terrain.
Some royal watchers had hoped the Queen's death might spark a turning point for the two after they and their wives briefly appeared together outside Windsor Castle. But the Fab Four, as the couples were once known, are no more.
I think it's no surprise that Meghan isn't at the coronation. It's still very raw, the situation.
Harry and Meghan's every move scrutinized since their shocking decision to quit as working royals in early 2020. From their high-profile interview with Oprah.
In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
To their 6-part documentary on Netflix.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
The biracial Meghan's marrying into the monarchy, initially seen by some as a transformative moment for Britain and the Commonwealth.
I do think that the treatment of Meghan and Harry by the royal family is being watched very closely by the Commonwealth. They're looking to see how issues such as race relations are handled by the monarchy.
Prince William has defended his family against allegations of racism.
We're very much not a racist family.
The royal family forced to confront uncomfortable moments in recent years. Protesters greeting William and Kate in Jamaica last spring. The Commonwealth country has vowed to remove King Charles as their head of state by 2025.
I don't see what they are doing for us here in Jamaica.
That wealth is something we never shared in. So for us in Jamaica, the monarchy is a harsh reminder of our unfortunate past.
There's no better example of the wealth display of the country than you'll see in the coronation. And then the flip side of that is you also have poverty. So the legacy of the empire is deep poverty in the black and brown parts of the world and wealth in the white part of the world.
Last spring, Charles and Camilla visited Canada, where he reflected on Britain's mistreatment of the indigenous people there.
We must find new ways to come to terms with the darker and more difficult aspects of the past, acknowledging, reconciling, and striving to do better.
Barbados was the latest country to sever its ties to the crown, declaring itself a republic in 2021 and removing the Queen as its head of state. Charles attended its transition ceremony.
From the darkest days of our past and the appalling atrocity of slavery, which forever stains our history,
the king has never formally apologized for the British Empire's role in the transatlantic slave trade.
Well, it'd be nice if he apologized. Once you apologize, that means you're saying you're guilty of something, and then people can call for reparations.
Today, King Charles meeting with leaders of the Commonwealth member states. Dignitaries trickling in, like First Lady Jill Biden and Monaco's Prince Albert and Princess Charlene, honoring the king in his historic moment. 11,000 police officers will be on hand to guard what could be the country's biggest security operation ever. Authorities bracing for some protest. But also thousands of excited fans along the parade route.
When else can I say that I camped in the street outside the Buckingham Palace?
A brighter spotlight, too, on the next generation. Prince George, who at 9 years old is serving as a page boy to his grandfather.
George is the future. If the monarchy is going to have a long-term future, it's going to be on George's shoulders.
Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis will be there, too. The 5-year-old whose funny faces stole the show at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Louis will behave, you think? Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. You never quite know. No, not with kids that young, yeah.
On Coronation Day in the hallowed ancient halls of Westminster Abbey, one king, Charles, will finally take on the role he's prepared for his whole life, while his son, William, will swear an oath that finally cements his future on the same throne.
Prince of Wales kneels in front of him and makes homage to his father. You know that one day you will be where your parent is, and dedicating a whole life to what your father is doing and how he's doing it, and being ready to take over in a heartbeat.
Stay with ABC News for a complete coverage of the coronation starting at 5 a.m. Eastern.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.